Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. I hope you're having a phenomenal day so far, and welcome back to our Farthest Frontier Friday stream, which is on a Saturday morning and on its 7th attempt at starting this morning, which is truly fantastic. I've deleted the VODs for all the others so you don't have to listen to all of the other challenges that we've had. We're playing in New Derpton. We're going to try and solve some problems. The problem we're going to try and solve today is going to be to get our brick production up and running and try and expand our population. Let's see if we can get it actually up and working. Just a heads up, this is going to be a very short stream in relation to my normal streams. My streams can go on for up to 16 hours. My VODs can go on for easily up to 8. This is just intended to be a short play, which I was intending to finish by now. This was going to be a 7 a.m. my local time till 8 a.m. stream, but it's now 8 a.m. So we'll try and give it a go for an hour. If you haven't come across Farthest Frontier before, it's a fairly chilled out. You can make it as chilled or as not as you like, really. City builder that is based around kind of a fancy medieval time period, with either raids and attacks and really difficult to survive, or you can make it just a chilled out, no raids, and have a little bit of fun, or somewhere in between, and somewhere in between is where I've gone. Also, there is nothing quite like setting up your audio exactly as chat asked about it, only for NVIDIA broadcast to crash, and there not being a backup way of doing audio. Yes. Right, here is a very quick overview of New Derpton. So we've got our town centre, and you can see here we've got ourselves set up with a theatre and a temple, our trading posts, and we have a cavalry stable and a fort. We're slowly expanding our cavalry as we can afford to. As you see, our income's not that high at the moment. We've got some basic city walls around the outside. We've got our fields over this way, along with some of our heavy industry. And then out to the north, we've just expanded last stream. So we've got a little work camp here, and we've got some work camps being put together with some housing to better take advantage of the wee bit of stone that's around this area. That will eventually get converted over. And you see there's a deep stone deposit over here. So we'll set up some more logistics coming from this area. And these little cellular areas all have a wagon shop to make it more efficient moving heavy goods back and forwards. Some temporary shelters so all of our workers don't have to go back to their home in the city every time that there is a problem. We've got foresters camps being made who are currently planting trees and harvesting stone. Basically a 2-to-1 ratio. They're taking out twice as much stone as they're planting trees. They're not doing any logging at all. And then off to the east, we've got another small industrial area where we've got a couple of mines up and running where they're gathering ore for smelting back in the city. Again, with a small tower that's really meant to deal with wildlife attacks versus barbarian attacks, and a little bit of local food production, some water, some logistics, and some more shelters. And then we've replicated that in the south. And you see these dense forests have all been planted by our foresters. This is our wood production area. So you can see here we've got a sawmill. We've got another one we're going to upgrade in future. and more logistics and a little bit more of a furniture workshop. We may put some storage out here. The problem is putting storage outside our city walls means they'll get attacked by raiders the second that they raid, which is a bit of a problem. And we have and ahed about expanding our city walls a little bit using the natural defense that we have here. You see we've got a fairly sheer rock face here, and over in the south here, you can see this water, which we can probably use to our advantage and build a wall across here. So we don't have to build a lot of wall, a lot of defences to give us a significant amount more security. But we do need a lot of stone for that. And then in the south, we've got some of our fishing industry. But really, it's more about the medicinal roots and herbs over this side that's going to be helping drive our economy forwards. And our main housing area. So not the most interesting design of housing area, but we've got these houses that we've been slowly upgrading the quality of living in. We've got these lovely brick paths, which is where all our bricks went, that are winding their way behind cottages. The manors here pay us more tax, which allows us to have more soldiers. You can see our monthly cost for soldiers is 280, with barely any, truth be told. Which is really eating into our tax income. So we're improving the quality of living. You can see here, this is the desirability of the housing. This is the structural integrity. That's that they've got the materials, including brick, available to them to maintain their house. If this falls into disrepair, it stops producing tax. And then we've got the health of the people currently there. And we've interspersed these houses with some wells with oaks over them. That keeps the wells performing better in summer. We've got some apiaries, which will produce some honey and honeycomb, which will allow us to... the wax allows us to produce candles, and the honey will allow us to produce beer at some point. And we've got altars scattered through, and some fairly well-managed market squares, which as we get more population we'll add more people into, but we're a little bit short on labourers, which means it's a bit of a rough time getting our economy moving. So we are desperate for immigration. For immigration we need lots of food, and we need to keep our food stores high, and part of that strategy has been we've got some semi-wild horses over here, well within our city walls, in our stables. So every time there are 10 horses, we will want to see if we can afford to hire an additional lancer so we can keep the birth rate of horses going. And then we have chickens. So another production of some meat and eggs. Eggs are important because it's a variety food that allows our villagers a better standard of living. And then we've also got, if we have a look this way, where are we? We have goats. And we could really do with more people taking care of these goats. We've got a large goat barn, and this will be producing some level of milk. And once we get our population of goats back up, we'll see some meat and pelts as well. And then finally, we have our cows, who are basically free roaming pretty much at the moment. Part of that is because I want to improve the fertility of the land in this area. And our cows are producing more milk. They're producing waste, which is actually super useful for us for fertilizing our fields. And they're currently producing lots of milk. The birth rate's about 2 a year, so we'll get a few pelts and a few meat each year from this area as well. So that is where we are at the moment. Our food stores are fine at best, and we've got lots of areas to work on. So we're going to speed the game up so we can actually get a significant amount of gameplay in. In base, yep. And we're going to try and speed through the winter. I'm just going to check our fields. See what we've produced this year, see what we're producing next year. We're trying to balance our production to ensure our fertility is improved. You can see placing the cows here is improving the fertility of this area, so we could use it as a future field. So this has just gone from a fertility improving year to this year the fertility will drop a little bit. I'm just checking for any of these smaller fields. These were our original fields, though, why they're so small. That look like this one's fertility is dropping. This one has stem rot. So we're going to have to carefully clear the right thing, find something else to put in its place. So that's going to be a very down fertility year because these crops, as you hover over them, you can see -2 fertility, -2 fertility. So we'll be hoping for some manure soon from our farms. We're just short of bricks everywhere. Okay. Well, we're starting to get bricks come through. We should have rat catch somewhere around here. Let's have a look. See if we can solve that problem. Okay. So we're up. But just stricken with broken bones. Our 66-year-old work camp labourer has broken a bone and is off to go and see the medic. Taxes were 5,223 gold ingots. You can see we're really struggling with this brick production. We do have a second brickyard, but the problem is that we could actually see production go down if we use it because we're so short of labourers. We need another 9 to make up the deficit, so 13 including this brickyard. Otherwise, all that will happen is the materials won't get to the brickyard, so we'll end up with net less bricks. How do we get more people? We make sure we have enough housing for them, Mark, and we make sure we have at least 6 months worth of food in stock. So as the more bricks are produced and not just used for maintenance, but also used for building, these houses will upgrade, which will upgrade our tax take and also the amount of people can stay in each house. And as long as we keep the happiness high and the food stores high, we should be in a reasonable nick. Let's see what we can trade at the moment. He has 3,000 gold that we could take off him. There's not really very much looking attractive there, though. Doesn't have any bricks to sell us. We don't really have any items to sell him. So, not the most useful trader. We can do those prep for more useful traders in the future. Let's see. At the moment, we're not using honey at all, so we can start getting the people that are in the worker positions of the trading post, start gathering the resources we would like to trade with other people. We do have a bit of a basket weaving industry here. We've got, I think, 7 or 8 basket weavers in total. And baskets are useful because they not only are a tradable resource, as long as you've got reeds, they're renewable as well. But they also increase your village's carry capacity. Okay. A reasonable tradable resource as well. We can get 1100 gold for that. I am absolutely buying all of that. Buy all the tallow. And actually, I'll buy all of the hides as well. Those are both super useful for us. I've actually got a fair amount of cheese in stock at the moment, so that's good news. We don't have any spare tools, so we're probably not being as efficient as we want to be. So we can bring in some more of this pottery. We are using pottery now as a luxury item ourselves. And the soap isn't something we'd want to buy there, but I try and keep a couple of hundred soap in stock. Actually, I might start keeping 300 soap in stock. Soap is also renewable. It's very unpopular in the local area where it's produced, but helps reduce disease. Between that, dealing with waste, and making sure that you deal with rats, those things stop you having huge disease waves in your city. So let's get a little bit of our money back from the shopping we did. Sell some of those baskets. So gold on hand has some pros and cons. The higher your gold, the higher the chance that people are going to come and raid you. The envious masses. I'm seriously tempted to buy that soap purely to trade it. What I'm really looking to buy from these trades is raw materials. Because anything that's a raw material we can use, for example clay, means that I'm not having to put people into the clay pits, so I can potentially free some people up from the clay pits and get them to go do something else. Whether that is just being labourers or whether that's producing more bricks. I don't think I have any active clay pits because I think I bought that clay before. And I actually need some clay pits over here because I need to clear this clay out of the way, which will be hugely unpopular with the neighbours. So that we can get ourselves... Well, we can build over these areas. But we do need to remove the finite resources first. I don't think there's anything more we're going to do here. Yeah, cheese is cheap enough that I'd buy that. But you see the herbs that go into making soap are almost the same price as the soap itself here. Stuff it. Gotta buy it and stock it and... Good morning, Sherlock. How are you this morning? You're good. Glad to hear it. When's your is it quarter triathlon today? Or tomorrow? This weekend? So a lot of labour is off to the fields. Farming is expensive in terms of labour. Dying from old age. How rude. Okay, there's some warning signs here. See, this is the lack of labourers. It's now warning, a literal warning sign across the centre of the screen. That we should definitely be getting some more labourers together. This theatre will help with that. Oh, everything will help with it, but... Is there an industry we could shut down for a little bit? This will have a knock-on across other industries, but... Shut down one of our foundries. A spectacularly bad idea. We have a look at our ingots. Where are we? Gathering and mining. We're consistently consuming what iron ore that we're producing, but we don't have unlimited people. So we're still going to be short on labourers, shutting that down. So I was just checking if we don't have any grain, we'll shut down one of the windmills. I'll keep the other one up just because I don't want to completely forget about it. That's going to have an impact on our bakers. Obviously, with no grain being turned into flour, there can be no flour to be turned into bread, which will affect the happiness of everyone as well, which is a problem. So at Armour 3 yesterday, yeah, so was I, my friend. I'll try and sort the server out while we're doing this. Hang on. I know the sound has stopped before anyone says anything. It's lost focus and I can't stop it from doing that. I'm trying to check at the moment if I have the Farthest Frontier original soundtrack. That if I do, we'll play it through somewhere else. Fortunately, doesn't look like I've got an ability to play that without it playing something else as well. So enjoy. Yeah, I hope you have fun with your construction sim contracts, Timic, and thank you for coming and hanging out this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. go. I think that's got it. There we go. There's some sound now. Eggs and toast. Sounds great. Is Twitch having a funny five as well, Mark? Excellent. Actually losing quite a lot of money at the moment. That's a problem. So our pop is slowly going up. Hey, we've got a new merchant arrived. Let's go and have a look. Oh, it's good news. We got the Grand Theatre finished, so the brick making is getting there slowly, just slowly. Oh, we've made 1 gold if we sold all that cheese now, because we bought it at 3. It's selling for 4. And we're going to just buy our way out of our problem. I mean, we're going to be pretty poor, but you know. So that will buy us out of our brick problem at a fairly substantial cost. That soap is gone up in price by 1 there. We can keep buying ourselves out of problems here. Let's buy ourselves more clay so we don't need to use citizens in clay pits. I don't think I can trade you. Alright, we're not going to make very much money from that, but we can sell that soap. And buy more brick. And this is a high price for crops. But it would allow us to get bread back underway, which will improve happiness as well. There we go. A bit of rebalancing there. Got some gold back. We've got ourselves loads of bricks now by trading our way out of it. It's only got 8 days. I might slow it down even more to give myself some thinking time. Thinking is not my specialty this morning. Let's risk it, chat. So we have really... Oh, bad words. We're under attack as well. Brady's going to leave a lot of our money. Yep, not fast enough. Okay. Oh. I saw that. Where the heck is it? This is why you need cavalry now. And they've got cavalry too. So we can use our cavalry to deal with these archers. Oh, fill the gap quickly. Those raiders getting through. Run them down. Screw that guy in particular. We go. We did okay. That tower, though. Ooh. That was very nearly not okay. Our troops held up okay. They were... that could have gone worse. Do we have another horse? As much as we can't afford it, I would like to keep growing our cavalry. There we go. Population 10 out of 10. A wee bit worse away, yes. Those are trading income. There you go. Just that small unit of cavalry combined with our heavy infantry troops. The heavy infantry are good as well because they have heavy weapons. Even with enemy cavalry, they'll do reasonably well against them. But we definitely need to expand our city if we want to have a larger guard. Our village was raided, they destroyed...
just subscribed, PogChamp.
They managed to destroy a total of 8 buildings. A raid size of 52. How are you, Calic? Thank you so much for the resub, my friend. Truly appreciate it. Alright, let's see. I have caused more problems than I have solved. Thank you, Calic. Truly appreciate it, my friend. Stone is still low, but our bricks, you can see through trading, our bricks have done okay. And we've justified the deficit in our monthly gold by saying, well, you know, our trading income's looking okay, and our trading income is now... Eesh. We need to get more tradable goods. Sitting ready to trade. Some of these aren't really enough. But you see, we've got flour being stocked now. We bought the rather overpriced grain, which doesn't count towards our food stores until it's turned into bread, because we're buying happiness with it. Because carbs are happiness in this. Let's rebuild our iron mines. Our wagon shop, that was expensive. And the other watchtower didn't make it quite as successfully. That was expensive. 175 gold 18 stone, 10 iron, and 10 wooden planks to replace that. And among our rebuildings, we need to make sure, over in the south here, that is our priority. To improve standards of living here. The further away from the town centre storage we are, the more people I'll put in my market. Ideally you want 4 in every market, but you don't have the population. The ones closest to the town centre are the winners. Just improving these facilities nearby a little bit should help. Barrels are doing okay there. We could really do some good merchants this time round. Will I be off on a work adventure in September? Yes. So from this week coming, I'll be traveling from Thursday onwards. And it is very unlikely that I'll be streaming while traveling, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of good games being released, including some potential sponsors content for Space Marine that I will miss out on. I'm looking forward to the trip to Prague because that's a Gaming Buzz work thing with Plan. And then I'm going to be travelling around Scotland for a chunk of September. And then in October, I think I'm actually triple booked for this weekend. Because some very good friends of mine are getting married, which I'm going to miss the wedding because I'm going to be in Prague. We've got Prague that was booked a year ago. Yeah. I was also asked if I could go on a work trip to the States. So this weekend in particular is super busy, as in there could be one coming up. Prince is more good, absolutely. We're very low on wood planks after that attack, and we are losing gold fast. We've just spent an absolute fortune. Some of that's going to be recouped. Some of it most definitely isn't. Hey, mate, fine. If you claim flank and use claim plan to keep him alive, I mean, probably. Please tell me there's a merchant on the way. We're in real trouble here, chat. That's buying us a little bit more time, but we have no gold at the moment. Bad news is, it's going to get worse. We're currently a resource-rich town that's very poor. We've done okay. We've increased our pop. Our people are happy, and we have food still, although down to 5 months' food. I'd rather that was 6. But we have spent so much between that last raid and trying to upgrade that we actually don't have enough gold to survive unless we can trade in a fairly big way. So we have solved the no bricks problem. We traded our way out of that. It's all the other problems we have now. And we've upgraded loads of additional houses down here. We're so close to upgrading these here as well. See, will a merchant come and save us? We'll probably speed this up while we're asking that question. Just a heads up, there might be a derp in the stream in just a second. I'm trying to do a thing.
Fresh coffee made by Mac Divine. Message, sounds like you need this.
Thank you, Matt. Thank goodness. Sorry, just so you guys know, this is what I've been working on. Here you go. Am I going to work? Probably not. There. Our server's back up and running. This is live in Armour. The server's back up and running with the latest set of mods. For the grand headquarters, we haven't lost any progress as far as I can tell. Yep. Looks fine. That was a very significant amount of work this morning. So I'm going to post to Discord that the server's now up and running. Transfer the rest of the gold to our town storage. We have no gold in our trading post right now. Three months for a trader to come in and save us. Hey there, Nim. It's not the price we want to achieve for it, but I'll take as much of the money as possible from this person. Going to be swapping resources here quite a bit. So we want to also solve our problem with stone before it becomes a real problem. Even though these aren't selling at a particularly high rate. Put some gold over to tide us over. And then we'll try and trade items as far as we can. Actually, coal is a renewable resource for us. It's actually charcoal, it's not coal. But it's a very high price we're paying for some of this stuff, but hopefully worth it. Not paying that for pelts. Hell no. That trade is not really doing anything for us. That'll do. We've got a bit of trading money. An extra bit of stock in there, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, our food's dropping, our gold's dropping, but we have time to solve that at the moment that we didn't before. Derpton, that doesn't work, unfortunately. So right, trying to think of a way to put this that doesn't sound ranty. Give me a minute. So, the problem that we have with armor is twofold. One is, okay. Here's the thing. Our community wants to play interesting and different servers and wants to have access to different mods to do so. Mods are made by modders who are not paid and do work when they have some time and update the mods as they go as a goodwill thing. They really don't think about the impact of when they update for their mods. They're really more interested in pushing live as they can. So we also have a community that is not universally tech savvy. That's not a insult. It's just that there's a lot of people that will ask questions and need a step-by-step guide to be able to do really anything, and that's okay because they're used to playing games that when you start the game it just runs. So with mod updates there's a couple of challenges. One is that when the mod update comes out, we have our server for Armor hosted with Armor Hosts, who is a specialist provider to try and reduce as many problems as possible. And one of the cool things is that you can update your server. We already have daily restarts. We already have testing that I do every day on our Armor server, which is why it's quite so frustrating when you get to a Friday and people complain about the Armor server not working, is that it was already tested at 10 a.m. on Friday morning and everything was working. So what happened yesterday is that a mod was updated. The mod in question isn't an optional one, so previously Zeus updated. That's optional. It means that you can manage things in game a bit easier, and it means that some trusted members of our community can do things like spawn in units and move things that are really only there to, when there are minor bugs with armor, that they can kind of resolve them in game or make the scenario more interesting in some cases to make it a little bit more difficult if people are rushing through it a bit too easily and vice versa. So Anti-Stasi, which is Anti-Stasi Ultimate, because there's different versions of Anti-Stasi, is the version that we are currently using. They updated their mod at 6 p.m. yesterday. When you update a mod, Steam uses something called a content delivery network, the same as our website uses a Gaming Buzz, the same as a lot of the internet is built on. And what that means is instead of having one central server that everyone goes to grab their content from, there's a network of servers. So what happens with that is when you update your core server, it then distributes that update to that network of content delivery servers around the internet. And that means that instead of you having to download from a central Steam server in the west coast of the US, you're downloading your Steam update from the server closest to you. The problem is that when you update a file to a content delivery network and it needs to update its cache, it can take anything from 15 minutes to 12 to 24 hours to update everywhere. What that means is that if you're a player that's close to a server that's updated, you've got an update that when you start your game, one of the wonders of modern technology, is that it will update the mod. It will say, hey, this mod's had an update. Do you want to download it? And if you click yes, you're updated. If you live in an area where that mod's not updated yet, that it hasn't hit the content delivery network, you can't see that update even exists. So, morning, Kaz. What that means is that if there's a few different scenarios that play out. So what happened yesterday, lots of players managed to get on the server. I couldn't. I had the most up-to-date version of the mod. The server hadn't, because it hadn't been restarted since the morning. The players that are already on there said they had the most up-to-date version of the mod for them, because the CDN hadn't updated the content delivery network for them locally. So my choice was either I kick off every player that's on the server, update the server, and I get to play, and then tell the others how to update a mod, and then I could, in theory, upload the version of the mod to a folder, say a Google Drive, and allow everyone to download it and install it. But that requires teaching people how to do that, to download that and install it in the right place. And that requires about 5 minutes of explanation per person. We have about 20 to 30 players join over the course of a few hours on Armour. 30 times 5 minutes is more time than I have to play Armour. So the alternative choice is leave the server up, which is what I did yesterday, which means if you start Armour and your content delivery server has been updated, you're going to get the mod and then you're not going to be able to play because your mod will be newer than the version on the server. So that's the problem we had, is that content delivery network combined with players not being admins, and I don't expect them to be, means that I had a choice that we cut off a part of our community either way. And I could, if I'd known about it a little bit more in advance, create a video on how to update. But the reality is we've created, for Armour in particular, outside of Minecraft, Armour is the server that has this service, the games in Armour have caused us and cost us the most money. They cause us the most problems because we're doing some things that are pretty simple on a small scale, but very difficult on a larger scale. So things like we use TeamSpeak to use in-game voice because you have to, because Discord doesn't allow some of the things that you want to do. And if you have 30 people chatting in your ear at once, you can't hear what anyone's saying, so you don't have a great social time. So all the radios are done through a combination of TeamSpeak, a mod that links Armour to TeamSpeak, and it does really clever stuff. You can hear voices louder or more quietly in-game based on how far away you are, and you also have different radio channels, so different squads can have different radio channels, both for short range and long range. It's great, because it means you can have a social, you can have a chat with people around you, but without it being 40 people over different parts of the map trying to talk about different things in your ear constantly. That TeamSpeak integration with TFAR, Task Force Arrowhead Radio, that integration has been replaced 3 times for us because the original version was by a Russian team for lots of geopolitical reasons. That is no longer available. So we updated it and we wrote really detailed instructions step by step on how to update it. We wrote really detailed instructions in the Discord about how to deal with issues with regards to mics. We wrote a whole article on Gaming Buzz about how to use the radios. The most common question we get every week is, oh, my TeamSpeak's not working, what's wrong with it? People won't go and check any of those articles, they'll just ask. And that's human nature, I get it. But that means that Armour is one of my favourite games to play with the community. We can get loads of us on there. We have a server that has a capacity for 200 odd people. We have a cluster of servers working on the AI so that we can have huge scale battles, and that's fantastic. But almost every Armour stream, whenever there's been an update to any mod, ends up being a tech support stream. And then people don't watch the stream, because who wants to watch a tech support stream? and then people then get frustrated and don't play it, and then I spend quite a lot of my time dealing with DMs in Discord from people that are unhappy about why we didn't get to play Armour. And I get it, totally. Not a complaint. I wish we got to play Armour too. I didn't get to play Armour, so others could last night. But it does make for not super entertaining, not a super entertaining time for anyone. And when we don't run mods, if we just run a escape scenario, people get bored of that incredibly fast. If we just run the same scenario with Armour, people complain we don't change the map. If we run a modded map, the map will get updates. You can see the problem. Theodem says, so the problem with authors not knowing the consequences of updates, problems of not synchronized CDN, and problems of time necessary to build alternatives like manual updates instead of using the CDM. Also, those problems not solvable by any of us. Yeah, pretty much. I can't replace Steam CDN. Give me a few hours notice there's a problem. I can create some more videos. I can create some more step-by-step guides, which people will probably ignore, but at least I can create them. We can put the mod locally to me, so that there's a server that people can download the mod from and provide step-by-step instructions on how to do it. But they're realistically, those all take time, and the problem will eventually solve itself, other than when we have a problem of the server having a problem, in which case that requires an actual admin like myself, like Morass, Mr. Gwyn, to go in and play around with the server to get it working. So, yeah. Like, if you update your mod 2 hours before we're due to go live, there is literally nothing I can do about it. And that's not a complaint of the mod's authors. They're creating cool mods, cool content, and you're getting to use it for free. But I really wish they didn't do it on a Friday. In tech support, pushing to production on a Friday in software development and tech support is a meme. It means you don't like your colleagues. So, yeah, none of this is world-ending. However, I am but one person. We have staffers working for Gaming Buzz. Not all of them are technical. So, Sia Kane is one of our editors for Gaming Buzz. That's actually a paid employee of Gaming Buzz. But they are not going to be able to solve the problem with the Armour server. I wouldn't expect them to. Mr. Gwyn works for Gaming Buzz in some of his time as well. But all of these things can't be mitigated if it happens less than a couple of hours from the start. And it's... and the problem is, it is offline time, right? Who wants to watch a stream? And I can tell, like, you can go back and look at the stats. No one wants to watch a stream where I'm either talking about tech support or providing tech support. Because that's not interesting, and frankly, nobody cares. And the problem we also have, which is also a challenge, and again, not a complaint, just a problem, is that some users think they are more technically savvy than they are, which leads them doing some of the things or suggesting some solutions. Ooh, Mega Rock, that'll do. Based on things they have heard other people say. And for people that are not tech savvy and know it, when they hear those things, they go, oh, so this is a solvable problem. Flanker just can't be asked to sort it. And then I get DMs about it. And this week, I didn't get to play Armour for even 5 minutes of actual gameplay. And I spent 6 hours working on our Armour server. To make sure it was available for everyone. So I don't want to linger on it too much, but that's the reason we had the problem last night. The reason it's not solvable. And the problem is that there is a perception, you can read the Discord messages yourselves, that we're not doing anything to try and solve the problem. And we've had, players are quite rightly called out. We've had 2 or 3 weeks where Armour's not gone ahead. Well, last night Armour went ahead for anyone that didn't get the update. 19 days ago now, the data center the Armour server is physically hosted in went down. And the recovery took 14 hours. There is literally nothing anyone, including our hosting provider, could have done about that. The site physically went dark. And prior to that, it was another problem with an anti-Stasi update. Hey, Alzheimer. Back with coffee. Nice. So, yeah. And there's quite a lot of other things that go into mitigation on our servers that I'm not going to talk about all of them publicly. But we put a really significant amount of effort into our community servers. And I put an amount of money that is never likely to be recoverable in any given month. Into both gaming bars and our community servers, because I want you guys to be able to have a place that you can come and play co-op games and mess around and have some fun. But the total costs are in the tens of thousands a year. Ooh, we're actually going to get some meat out of our livestock again this year. And again, none of this is a complaint. I'm trying my best to just provide the information you're asking for. But I will admit that it does get you down when you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing, and I'm really hoping everyone's going to enjoy it. And I'm putting loads of my time and effort in, and lots of people are being incredibly generous with their time and effort to get a thing working. And then I spend my time tech supporting the thing rather than playing it. And if you want to be a streamer and you want to earn money from streaming, here's the things you do. Play single player games. Specialize your content in one particular type of single player games. Take every sponsorship that you are offered and do them. You'll note all of those things are things I don't do. Can't believe you aren't here for Space Marine 2 launch. Neither can I. Because that actually, there was an opportunity to sponsor content there. However, it is way more important. I would not be there no matter what. I would either be at a wedding, be on a work trip, or be on a different work trip. And I'm really looking forward to going to Prague with Plan and going on that particular Game Buzz work trip. Also, final part, promise. if you want to see that this isn't just a problem unique to this individual idiot streamer, for like how you can run services or how you can keep content up to date. For those that are more into tech or have just been around tech longer, Anantech disappeared yesterday, or is in the process of disappearing. There is no longer new content being created for it. One of the oldest tech websites, and it was entirely predictable, and it's nothing to do with the management of Anantech. And there is in the tech news bit, I've given a brief summary of why it's predictable and why more and more gaming sites, tech news sites are all going to disappear. I built the wrong thing there, chat. I did not mean to build that wall at all. I meant to build a road. Oh dear. Well, that was a waste of stone. Who needs roads when you have walls, right? Yeah, very high roads. But yeah, the Anantech is owned by now owned by Future Publishing. Future Publishing are honestly one of the success stories of tech journalism. And they can't make it work. They're enormous in terms of the tech space. I think we're going to keep that wall because I don't get enough of taking it down. And we'll figure out what to do with it later. This will be a new protected little area back here. Totally intentionally. If anyone comes along in future streams, they'll have no idea that this was a huge mistake. Well, they'll know that coming and watching my stream is a huge mistake, but they won't know that this was a huge mistake. We'll make it look pretty as well. Let's just be the route out to our new mining area. Actually, let's call some troops. Since you're not really in that world flank, why are those sites failing to keep existing? For the same reason that specialist cycling publications are failing to keep existing. There go the cavalry. Okay, get rid of this, and then I'll. Cool. I think they can just return home. Right. You got anything worthwhile to sell me? Oh, yes, you do. I need his gold, so we can't be too greedy. I want to sell as much as I can of all the stuff I'm not immediately using. I'd very much like to buy all of that cured meat to get our food stores looking a bit more sane. I wouldn't mind buying those herbs as well. But we've got plenty of herbs, realistically. We don't need that. Trader 2. Might be able to make ourselves quite wealthy here if we think about this for a few seconds. We'll take all of that grain, transfer that. I'll take all of that sand and transfer that. 4,100 there. Okay. Take all of that medicine, not a particularly good price. And all of that glassware we can afford. Going to do quite a lot of trading here. Take all of the glassware. I'm going to take sell some of that. Those candles are very expensive, but this could be a generational wealth gaining moment for our city. Because we're getting to sell for the first time heavy tools, which we have good production of. 100. And they're buying the tools at a fair price as well. I want to get as much of that as I can. Sell that. 13.44. Okay, we have done all right here. Thank you for the research,
Sherlock Swoleems just subscribed.
Truly appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Right. Let's see if we can get one or two of those to go. There we go. I don't know where all these spices have gone that we've bought, but sure. Okay, right. We'll get this other trader. What can we do for him? We'll get the game playing again. There we go. Okay, right. While we're waiting. Hey, Harry, how are you, my friend? Lovely to have you here. The spice must flow, indeed. I'll be a lot happier when it shows up. There we go. I need to keep as much of this trader's money as possible. 12,000. 2,100, really. I haven't forgotten publications and why they're disappearing. That was hugely lucky for us, because we're now going to transfer some gold back to our town. And we're now giving ourselves loads of time to recover our economy-ish. And some more opportunity to 3,000. That's only going to be 730. That's going to be a further... Okay, we've bolstered our meat supply a little bit as well. I think that's not bad. Okay, why are all the print publications and online media disappearing? So the way that print publications used to work is you would go and buy your copy of PC Gamer. And PC Gamer was sold to you at a cover price. What's the cover price of PC Gamer today? It used to be, I mean, £5, so it's probably about 9 now. Print magazine. Well, the annual's about £12.99, and the digital version is £4. And Magazines Direct. Let's see if they'll sell me a single copy. And the print edition is £8 per month. Okay. So PC Gamer would sell for £8, and you go and pick it up from a shop. Let's get my calculator out. So, come on, game, give me some music. We're playing. Come on, honest. There we go. So, of that £8, somewhere between £1.60 and £3.20 go to the retailer, who have had to get the magazine, put it on their shelf, and sell it to you. Light, heat the store, pay for the employees in the store, all that boring stuff. The remaining money goes to printing the magazine and then some income. Lots of people bought PC Gamer. I wonder if they're ABC circulated. PC Gamer, ABC. Wow, I don't think it's actually going to let me. It won't let me see the circulation. ABC are charging for their services, and I'm not going to join ABC just to see the circulation. But ABC is the Audit Bureau of Circulation, so it's meant to be pre-internet, and it still does today, provide some assurance to advertisers, mainly, that the circulation of a magazine or a publication is at a certain level. So they will provide information they'll provide what seems a trusted source of audited information that says that PC Gamer sells a set number of copies per month, rather than it just being trust me, bro. Those lines are lower than I thought they were. Although, to be fair, these information is a while ago. But PC Gamer magazine is selling. Used to have ABC circulations in 2007 of 38,000 copies. So 38,000 people were purchasing PC Gamer in a store and were paying that cover price, of which a small component of that is profit after you've paid for because on the PC Gamer side, they have to pay Smith's News, well, they pay whoever's printing it for them, and then pay Smith's News or an equivalent, it used to be John Mingers in the UK, to then take that on and then go and sell it to the stores, and they pay the stores money for having to stock it. But a small amount is profit. But they have a very targeted audience. They tend to know a lot about who their audience are. and it's not quite today's metrics, but they would be able to say, hey, we know that if people are buying PC Gamer, they're likely to buy PC games, and they're also likely to buy PC hardware. So that means they can also sell ads inside their magazine, and the ad price will be based on the number of people that read the magazine times the multiplier. Just like how valuable are PC Gamer's readers. So the circulation gives you an amount you can sell it for, and the value of your reader gives an amount you can sell the space for. And people will pay a flat rate no matter how it performs for their ads. And ads used to be really valuable because if you think back in the early days of gaming, PC Gamer was established in the 90s. If I were a game developer trying to get hold of you as a customer, really print media was all there was in town. There was no digital downloads. So I was relying on game stores and print media to sell my games. So people would advertise in PC Gamer, and they make sure they're providing review copies. Same as today, you can still pick up PC Gamer on the shelf. But today the circulation is about half what it was before. And it was certainly going that way rapidly. So the last information I have here that's publicly available information is that in 2013 they'd gone in 6 years their circulation had halved. So you had the cover price is giving you some profit, the advertising inside is giving you some profit. The advent of digital advertising and putting magazines online has come. Now people expect that same information they were happy to pay £6 to £9 for maybe 40 articles, maybe 50 articles of varying quality. I'm not saying there's bad journalism, just saying that some will be interesting to you, some won't be. If this month's issue is all about a deep dive into the Warhammer game, then you're in luck because there's going to be a lot of content about that. If it's some months, it might be Forza Motorsport, you might not care as much about that. But if you're buying it month on month, there was a reliable-ish source of income for you from the cover price, from your readers giving you money, and advertisers. Now people don't want to pay any money for news media online. They just don't want to. And people will give all sorts of reasons, but the reality is the perception of that content is that it's free. And they still want the high quality journalism, they just don't want to pay anyone for it. They also want to complain about how journalists are treated, where they're not paid a living wage. Again, just so said out loud, Gaming Buzz pays the UK living wage, not minimum wage, to its staff. All of them were living wage accredited. So that means that there is no cover price money coming in, and your print money that was coming in before, that was thousands of pounds, which really what paid for the magazine was a lot of the advertising dollars. Those changed. Advertisers started to have more tools available to them with online advertising. What that means is that you'd still have the concept of CPM, but when web started, it was all about ad views. So it'd be how many times ads are displayed. There are still some campaigns that run like that, but they are very few and far between. They pay very little. But actually what people wanted was a bit more information about their readers, like who's looking at this, and can we use those ads to be slightly more targeted? So can I see how those ads are performing? So you then start to see more ads that are working on affiliate basis. So if you like a game, you've read Gaming Buzz's coverage of it, you buy the game using Gaming Buzz's link, at no additional cost to you, we get a small amount of money from the person you bought the game from, because we helped him buy making that buying decision for the reader. But that only works if you click the affiliate link and you don't have any sort of ad blocker that will block the tracking on it. And the tracking on it isn't nefarious. It literally just says you came from us. In fact, if you look at a simplified version, and this is the reason I love Humble so much, if I just create a link for any old game, just for a second, I can talk you through, because it's the most easy to see. Generate link, copy, there you go. Oh, come on, copy. Thank you. There's a partner link for Humble. Everything after the question mark is metadata that is tracking who sent it. It's really simple in Humble because they don't use numbers, they just use a name. I'm a flanker. And there's also, with Humble, we support War Trade, which is one of the charities I supported for 20 odd years. Awesome charity. You should go and look them up. There's plenty of links. You can put exclamation mark War Trade and find out more about the work they do. However, that's all of that metadata on there. That's it. Now, some metadata will have more. So if I do the same link, this is exactly the same link, but I'm going to put it through, and if I'll do a version that will look terrible. Here you go. So that is exactly the same link, but that's using our partner Skimlinks. Skimlinks are an affiliate platform that we use to monetize some of our content. And what that link does, it sends you to from wherever the link's been from to their website first, go.skimresources.com, and everything after that question mark then is the metadata it uses to sort out who you are and where from. So the ID bit in that is Gaming Buzz. Then it's also then referencing the URL that it wants to send you to afterwards, which is all of the other stuff that you can see there. In fact, I'll do a cut down version of that link so it's a bit clearer. 1 second. Store promo. Let's do. Sorry, because that had some extra junk in it. And these aren't links you'd ever see the full version of, but there you go. So all that does is send you to Skimlink store. Or to Skimlink service, and then sends you on to my Humble link. And that gives a little bit of additional information about the user, but it's not personally identifiable information. Frankly, we don't care. What it is saying, did you come through a link from our website? Did you come on mobile? Are you on PC? So that when it passes you on to the next bit, which is the Humble store, it's optimizing for the type of site that you see. That's it. If you strip all of the data out of that link after the question mark, none of that works. So Humble, for example, will get the link through and go, cool, you just came to our homepage and you were referred by no one. Therefore, there's no affiliate revenue going anywhere, which means that the content creator, whether that is PC Gamer or us or anyone else, sees zero, even if you click on the affiliate link. There's no way of tracking it because you've stripped all the data from it. So there's zero. Combine that with ad blockers that are also blocking all of the ads. It means that advertisers are looking at gaming news sites and lots of specialist content that really survived historically on direct revenue from the readers and ad revenue, and saying, well, I'm not giving you ad revenue because everyone's blocking the ads. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not giving you money for a display ad that you're not going to display. I can give you an affiliate link, and if you can prove that someone's used it, then I'll give you, a commission on that affiliate link. Which is why you get so many websites that are so focused on everything being lists of the 10 newest, the 100 best, with people that have never even seen the products they're writing about, because that is cheap and gives you a chance at revenue. And the market is telling people, publishers, that people aren't interested in good quality articles written by journalists because no one values them enough to pay. So the market there's a very straight line between what the market does and the incentives in place. And at the moment, the incentives in place... Ooh, we refilled our labourers quite a bit, that's good. The incentives are all geared towards affiliate sales. But really, the affiliate sales are failing because people use ad blockers that have a little bit of knowledge going, oh my god, people track you. I don't want to see ads. But not enough knowledge to understand the impact of the actions. Or they just don't care and don't value it enough. And lots of people then will look for, if a site paywalls its content, they'll complain about it and try and find it somewhere else and go, well, journalism is free. And this is impacting news media, but it will impact niches more, and niches within niches even more than that. So back to Anantech, the reason they failed isn't because they were reviewing different stuff. LTT did a bit on Wan Show where they were like, oh well, yeah, they were reviewing like mini PCs. Like, who does that? Well, because if they do anything else, everyone else is already doing it. Everyone in the tech space is going to write your review of the next top-end Intel and AMD processor. You're going to be competing for eyes with everyone. You're going to be competing on search with all of those people. If you're writing about a small, little-known mini PC that does a cool thing that has a niche audience, you're more likely to get the click. You're more likely to, and it's not many clicks, but if you are getting the affiliate link, then you're more likely to get the affiliate revenue. The other problem is that the more techie an audience is, the more likely they are to have an ad blocker, because they understand enough to understand that they don't want the tracking without understanding what the impact of that is on publications, or they don't care, both of which are valid views. But that means it is completely untenable to write content. And video content is actually even worse. The creating video content is significantly more expensive. An edited 5-minute video probably took the writer, because they have to write the content first, then script it, then film it, then edit it, then publish it, and then have a CDN to put it out there. And if they don't have it on their own video service, or like a video service that is branded just to them, that no one else can just nab the video of, so if they would need to have some sort of private video delivery network, which is incredibly expensive as well. Or they put it on YouTube and hope to get some ad revenue from it, which is great. Yeah, I'm streaming to YouTube now. But you need to have views to do that. And there is only so much view time. And again, you've run into the problem with ad blocker. People blocking ads on YouTube. If you like watching content on YouTube, pay for YouTube Premium if you don't like ads. Don't pay for an ad blocker that blocks the ads. So yeah, all in all, news media is screwed because quality investigative journalism is expensive, takes hours, no one wants to pay for it, no one's buying papers, or not in the same way they were before. It's really difficult to get people to subscribe to your content. And then on YouTube, content creators then aggregate all of that news for you without providing, with many of them, very clearly either using ad block or trying to get around paywalls while doing it. Level 1 Techs, one of my favorite content creators on YouTube, do it for their news show all the time. They are creating a thing for profit and still will not pay to access articles from other news media organizations. And if you can't persuade them to do it, good luck persuading the average consumer. And then consumers say, aha, but I do support content creators I like. But they don't support them universally. And if you go on to Anantech's site, and then have a quick look at that thing you were thinking of buying, and then don't use their affiliate link and then go and Google the item, or use their affiliate link but you're using an ad blocker, actually you've just cost them money. You've cost them money to serve the page to you. You've cost them money in writing the content that you've then consumed for nothing, and then you've gone and Googled where you can get it from somewhere else to save yourself some money, which is understandable. Again, not judging anyone here, but it means the business model is completely untenable for them. And I will be very surprised. And Future Publishing, they're a UK-based publishing company. They own a lot of the tech space. And they've done a great job at turning their business model around. But if you want to know why, when people complain about, oh, they're just writing all these trashy articles about the top 5 non-mechanical keyboards that have RGB in them this month, or the top 5 vacuum cleaners. Why are Tech Radar doing a top 5 vacuum cleaners thing every month? Affiliate revenue is why. No one wants to pay for the content. And there are alternatives for reviews as well. If you don't want to pay, you don't want ads, and you want reviews, you can pay for services like Witch. And no one pays for that because they can just Google top 5 whatever and get a machine-written article that will give you 5 affiliate links that they really desperately hope you use because it's supporting the journalism they do elsewhere. So you're going to keep seeing more and more magazines disappear, and unless specialist publications can figure out a way of getting their audience to support them directly, they're going to disappear too. And the more specialist, it's the same as retail. If you're a generalist retailer, so something that everyone buys, like food retail has terrible margins, famously. There's a reason that for layouts in stores, we talk about it on some of our grocery store simulator game streams. But actually the margins in food retail are pretty bloody awful. And if you're a small convenience store, they're even worse. But everyone buys food. So you're going to sell a large volume of it, so you can-ish afford to have a lower margin. If you sell craft supplies, say, and you're the only supplier in your town, and there's only £100,000 worth of craft supplies bought in your town, and you want to pay yourself £27,000 a year to earn, a livable wage, and you have shop rent and stock costs to take account of, you need your margins to be 40, 50, 60% on every penny you take in needs to be profit, just for you to survive. If you're selling food and someone's buying £100,000 worth of food every week, you can afford for it to be a lot lower and get out the same amount of revenue. And that's the same with magazines. If you're reading a specialist trade publication with a small readership, you really need that readership to be giving you money directly. Or to have great targeting information to know that actually the average person that's really into train collecting or train spotting or whatever it is that your publication deals with, is also tends to have a large amount of money behind them and invest pension pots, so you can persuade people outside of the train spotting industry or the train enthusiast industry to sponsor you, like banks or something else. Freedom says the best customers are the ones consulting a local store on the street but buying over the internet or Amazon elsewhere. Hey, Mr. Bosker. Hey, Lex. Can we have a top 5 flanker rants? I don't think anyone would vote or read in that, but how are you this morning, Lex? By the way, the armor server's up, mate. But yeah, the internet is basically, for as far as print publications are concerned, or even online publications, most people on the internet are the people that used to go and stand in the newsagents, read the magazine, put it back and never buy it. You're a cost on delivering it to you, you're a cost on providing it. They've had to print the copies to putting it out there, which they don't get the money back on. The store sends them back and expects a refund for those copies that don't sell. But people will say, oh, well, I'm an avid reader of. But if you don't spend any money to buy the said thing, you're not. You are just a cost. You're just a burden. And that's a really difficult message for people to hear. Those still complain when they have to go and read instead of getting delivered free. Right. Also complain about taxes paying for libraries where you could go and read it in where it has actually been bought from the publisher. So I'm very sad to see an Antec go. Genuinely a great resource. I don't blame Future Publishing for 1 second for cutting an Antec. And I disagree with what I would say is quite an optimistic view from Tech Potato about, oh, if we had only got into video sooner. An LTT on the WAN show last night, you should go and support that creator as well, go and watch their content. Talked about how talked about labs and the labs website, and they were, oh well, you know, if they'd only done these things, then they would have been fine. Then they panned over to where the labs videos are, and those videos are getting 248 views. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's a you've just demonstrated why just doing videos of online content that's not performing isn't going to be the thing that saves you. So, yeah, it's a very predictable, very sad, but very predictable trend that more of these specialist magazines with high quality journalism will disappear. Because also, if you are, like the economic realities are, if you're losing money on something anyway, you're not going to be able to pay staff to keep creating that thing. And if you are paying freelancers, you're not going to be able to keep paying freelancers the sort of rates that freelancers would love to have if the articles the freelancers are writing aren't performing, aren't commercially viable. So it's rough, but you're going to see a lot of publications, a lot of and a lot more, frankly, YouTube channels start to disappear and be replaced with more and more AI content that will be doing the same garbage recommendations based on tech specs at best. So, and it is somewhat frustrating to see people, oh, well, it's definitely Future Publishing's fault. They killed it. Like, no, the readers killed it. They decided there wasn't enough value to be worth paying. Well, that's okay. It's just, let's be honest here about why we can't have nice things. There we go. Our taxes are up. Our luxuries are up. Our market squares are performing. We actually made profit, and we've upped our population, and we've still got 5 months worth of food. Again, like I say, this isn't a rant about how terrible everyone is. It's just the consequences of one's actions. Which means that there are some things that just can't exist today that used to exist because of the consequences of many of our actions. And that's okay, but it's as long as people realize that there is That's the reason. It's not big business and shareholders that have killed it. It's consumers that have killed it. Because it didn't offer sufficient value for them to value it enough to pay for it. And as long as you understand that, then that's okay. Like, it's it's choices being made. But it does where it has caused me significant frustration is listening to armchair experts that have never worked in any of these fields suggesting that it was all that meanie future publishing. It was definitely them that killed it. No, they just wielded the axe after losing money and subsidizing that content for years. And before that, Perch subsidized that content for years. So maybe instead of everyone saying future publishing is terrible and they've killed off this resource I like, we should say thank you very much, future publishing, for keeping it alive as long as you have, because none of us valued it enough to pay for it. And that's really hard to hear if you're a journalist that works in that field, because no one wants to be creating things that they feel that do not add value. But the reality is that if someone won't pay for it, value is discerned by the buyer. And if someone won't pay for it, it doesn't have value. That's not saying it doesn't have artistic value or merit, or that it doesn't do some interesting stuff or provide huge value at particular times. But if you don't value it enough to pay for it, does it really provide you with value? And currently I'm using the nights while ranting, going through the doing a little bit of scouting out this way. And that's why, if you like that coffee shop on the corner, go and buy a coffee there today. Particularly if it's a wee independent. If you like that little craft shop, or you like that wee bike shop, then maybe consider going and putting some of your money there. Or just accept that it won't exist at some point. And that's what's happened to the bookstores, where you've seen consolidation to the point that really, in the UK, there is one major bookseller now, the physical stores, and that major bookseller is not the one. Well, there's two, I suppose, but you could count Blackwell's. But neither of them are the biggest player. Amazon is. So if you want a little bookstore, buy a book at a little bookstore. If you don't care, then that's okay. Genuinely, it's okay. It's not a passive aggressive. That's okay. That's honestly fine. If you don't care, then it doesn't matter that they disappear. But
Fresh
I would
coffee
ask,
made by Lex. Message: I prefer this coffee shop. I don't have to go anywhere to use it or suffer the bad taste of coffee.
Thanks, Lex. I have to go and grab that because I took the other coffee cup away. One moment. Coffee acquired. But you don't care and don't complain about something you don't get. Oh, sorry. Ethereum says, but if you don't care, then don't compare. Then don't care and don't complain about something you don't care about. Right. Didn't care enough to do it. And like all of these small choices are made every day. And all of them are, in of themselves, thank you again for the coffee, Lex, fairly inconsequential. But they all add up over time. And it doesn't take very long for a consequence to happen. That independent coffee shop that you went to once and you loved needs lots of people to visit it all of the time, or it dies really fast. But a bunch of people excavating there. That's going to mean cavalry out there. But I need to go and grab these guys. Not those guys. Actually. There you go. That's not a bad trade. Stone for baskets. Anything else we want out of that? I think we're okay. Our cheese stocks are falling. That. Okay. I do need to grab these cavalrymen, otherwise we're about to get attacked and not have any defenders. There we go. We're going to flag that combat area. Have some knights go and protect the people that are doing the excavation work. This is the largest size of the map. So it's fairly large. And honestly, we've not explored much of it. So you... I wouldn't normally sell raw resources, but this is renewable for us because of our logs, and we've got charcoal burners. We've got a few more people now. And I'm going to use the money to buy fish and iron. Iron was overpriced, but it helps keep the rest of our economy going. So we produce things like swords that are worth more to us. Because we've got a bit of a lack of iron ore. And we've kept some of our people out of our foundries. Gonna buy some of this cheese. Okay. Buy all the cheese. Yeah, I'd like to. I just don't have the money. Much cheese. I do love those emotes. Yeah, it's one of my my favourite pastimes used to be watching news reports in local news or reading local news stories about, you know, local village pub is closing. People up in arms. The popular insert pub here is closing in this village. If it was that popular, it wouldn't be closing. And the comments. Just, oh, I went here once years ago. It was a lovely pub. Such a shame to see it closing. It's closing because you didn't go back if you weren't there last week. I'm terribly sorry. You weren't a regular customer. You weren't supporting it. Therefore, people don't work for free. And it disappeared. Can you see the link between those two things at all, maybe? Oh, I once went there and they had a lovely Sunday dinner 7 years ago. I was a regular customer, so they're an irregular every 5 years, right? And that's not to say those organisations are blameless. Like the pub might not have impressed you enough. There's 700 restaurants near you, so you can't, be a patron of all of them all of the time. All reasonable things. But if you weren't spending money with that particular establishment, you cannot be surprised that it doesn't exist anymore. People work for free 0-hour contracts and internships. I would point out internships for free are illegal in the UK. And 0-hour contracts suck. And I personally don't believe they are a good... if it is a main employment, then I think they really suck, and businesses should have to offer some consistent hours, which 0-hour contracts are disappearing. There is still a place for 0-hour contracts, but those 0-hour contracts are things like people that are students that want to be able to pick up some extra shifts at a weekend, but don't necessarily want to then be contracted all through the exam period to have to go to work during that period. It's not as black and white as that. I've personally never employed anyone on a 0-hour contract and never plan to. But in hospitality, like... and also, frankly, in e-com fulfillment, the alternative is just less jobs, which not all jobs deserve to exist. And also, not all businesses deserve to exist, like, to be super clear. Just because you have existed doesn't mean you get to continue to exist. Get more of this stuff ready for this dude? Yes. Let's see if we can buy a bit more cheese. But there is a rational reason for 0-hour contracts existing. However, I think they have been abused significantly, need significant legislation to work effectively. And if you abuse something for long enough, you can't complain. Ooh. I will not be using that relic. Get 5 more of those in at least, and we'll see if we can grab those quickly to get that last bit of gold away. I don't think we can. Use our newfound wealth to upgrade our forge there. Let's just use that to bank a profit. There is nothing there we could really bank a profit on. Or we could sell some of our soap. hope for the best there. Bank a little bit more money there. Go there. Yeah, the 0-hour contracts thing is, for those that don't know, is that you can have a contract of employment that means that you and the employer, they both work both ways, have an obligation to pay for and work 0 hours in any given period. And they are historically mainly used by hospitality, some retail, warehousing, for additional staff over your core staffing allotment. And the supposed benefit for an employee is that, like students, or if you are working part-time around childcare arrangements or something, that they give you some flexibility, that you have a contract, you have someone that's going to offer you shifts, which you can decline, but you don't have an ongoing commitment. So it allows you to work when it works for you. As an employer, the benefit is meant to be that you have the flexibility in your workforce, that you're not contracting a fixed cost for a long period. So if you have flex times, for example, weekends in pubs, as an old example of when people have historically used casual staff, they would now use 0-hour contracts instead, where you'd be properly contracted to the firm, but that if there is no work of a weekend, you'd send the people home. In principle, not completely terrible. If it's your main form of employment and you are looking for a full-time job, it is an utterly unsuitable contract. And if you're an employer looking to get people 40 hours some weeks and 8 hours for another, it's also a completely unsuitable contract. And there are better ways to manage that. But it allows the flexibility that was intended was actually intended to make things better for employees. In some ways, in that if you were a casual member of staff, which meant that you're working cash in hand in a lot of instances, historically, allegedly, you would find that you had 0 employment rights. You were basically SOL if anything went wrong. You had no formal contract with them. It was at best goodwill. So, you had an employment problem, good luck with that, because you weren't paying tax on it. You can't go to the authorities about it, because otherwise you're also going to be in trouble with HMRC. So you had a lot of abusive work relationships that were on informal employment on informal basis. Still had no guarantee of hours. 0-hour contracts formalized that, meant there was a legal way of having that more casual employment that provided more protections and still provide the flexibility for businesses that wanted to have those have periods where you don't need someone for 12 hours on a full shift 2 days a week. You need someone for 4 hours a night to cover your busy periods or bar staff or whatever. The problem is that then companies have started to introduce more and more and more of these 0-hour contracts that aren't replacing casual work. They're replacing people that were on 40-hour contracts before, so it gives them the flexibility to say, sorry, we don't need you today, go home, and they can flex their costs more efficiently at the huge detriment to their employees. So if you want to have 0-hour contracts, a thing that exists in the economy, they have to have regulation about things like the number of hours that are offered, the notice for shifts, which regulations do exist for, but people actually need to hold those companies accountable. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to them dying in a pit of fire. As I say, never use them myself because I've always tried to judge, not perfect, the needs of the organizations I've worked with. Because here's the thing, if you give someone a 0-hour contract and they have that zero obligation to you, you can't expect them just to turn up at work in 10 minutes. And you can't expect them to be their P45 holder, their main employer. Or put any rules around having other work, because people need to eat and survive. So I would work for whoever was offering me shifts in the order they offered me shifts. So as a business, it's a bad idea because you don't have priority on any person's time. I think that's the edge of the map. We found it. But it is slightly more nuanced than they just need to go and die in a pit of fire. Unlike the internship. Which the nuanced argument for internships was that you could gain experience. Because you can go and say, hey, I don't want to be paid by your company. I just want to learn some stuff and want to find out how you work or find out how a particular industry works. And in exchange for you teaching me, I don't want you to give me money. I just want you to have me around and I'll do some stuff to provide some value. What that ended up being in a lot of cases was companies would get young interns for free, and there are some areas like in politics, the only people that can afford to work for free in London come from very wealthy families. Typically. And if your only way into politics is to intern, because who else is going to show you how politics works from the inside, it meant that you had people that had wealthy families, could afford to work for nothing for local MPs as an intern, and would then be far more likely, because they already work in Westminster or work in a particular constituency, that there would be more opportunity for them to get a job with said people. Go this way. We're trying to find the edge of the map while we're doing this. All the way around. And also interns often didn't get the training bit or the exposure bit. They just got the crap jobs bit. Go and pick up my dry cleaning, go and grab my coffee. And at the point where you're just getting someone else's drinks, that's not adding value to your future career, really. And is an employee and should be paid as an employee and have the protections of an employee. So, but my own opinion, I have had an intern. They got paid living wage. My own view is that if someone provides value, you should pay them. And if they don't provide enough value for you to pay them, you need to get rid of them. It is a job that shouldn't exist. Go and kill the wolf camp. Get them, boys. Probably link the dots here so our villagers can come collect those pelts. But yeah, there are, like all these things, there are downsides to having the opinion that I have on internships, which means that if you want to get started in tech today, it is way harder than it used to be. You still go and get an apprenticeship, which there is a lower pay for than the living wage, because there is actual educational attainment as part of that, and there are requirements on the employer to provide that education, or to provide the time for you to be able to go and get that education with a further education provider. And you actually come away with that with a qualification as well. But previously, if you wanted to get into startups or in tech, you could just go and like be an intern for a tech startup and try and learn a lot, try and understand how things work. I worked for free and still work for free with several tech startups. So you would have that opportunity once. If you outlaw interns completely and make sure everyone's paid, those tech startups can't afford to fund the position, and you're not adding value. You're there to learn. So you're probably not very good at anything they're getting you to do, but you're getting some exposure to it. Those won't and don't exist in the same way anymore. On the one hand, that's excellent, because if you you provide value, you should earn money for the value. The downside is if you want to do things that don't provide value, you are SOL. And if you want to find out how you can earn 100,000 in a tech job and want to get better at programming, you're going to have to do it on your own time, and you're not going to have real world examples to be able to go and lean on. Charlotte says, by the way, Frank, are you a fan of Star Wars? I like Star Wars. I'm not a huge fan, but I enjoy the films. Enjoy quite a lot of the content, despite all the flack that Disney gets for it. Really enjoy The Mandalorian. I wish the Book of Boba Fett was more the Book of Boba Fett and less The Mandalorian some more. How about the Star Wars games? You seen that game around? Have you seen it on the incredibly talented FG Squared stream, perchance? Where you can probably find the VODs on FG's YouTube channel as well. Is that where you saw it? I quite liked, I have quite enjoyed quite a few of the Star Wars games. You should check out FG's VODs. Genuinely. Never heard of that person, says Lex, right? Oh, we just got attacked. We did just get attacked. Oh, this might be us a little bit too close to the sun here. Ooh, we defeated the raider encampment. We're going to have to go back to base, though. A raider encampment has been conquered. In addition to the spoils of war, future raider activity has been delayed for the next 12 months, so recover from this defeat. That's why it's worth exploring the map. With that low health, I think it is probably time to head back to our village. So the map's quite large. Let's see. Here's our city over here. So I'm going to put a cavalry banner out just for a wee second. Flag combat area there. And then tell them to return to barracks. I'll do the same for these guys, who I think I've still got standing somewhere over in the back of Beyond. There we go. It's just quicker than trying to find them. But yes, like Star Wars games, not a super fan by any stretch of the imagination of either. And I don't think I'll be playing the current Star Wars game. Never say never. But there are already some content creators that I respect an enormous amount that create great content that are already doing those games, and I don't think there's anything I would add to them. And I am not enormously hyped about any of the Star Wars games, so I don't think I have the time to invest in playing them, and I don't think I'd be creating content that would be popular enough to make it worthwhile creating when I could be creating other content instead. And I think that you should just go and watch FG's videos. Also, Flank Reverse if you want arresting people. I've been quite enjoying that game, actually. Definitely understand that, but I was just wondering if you would like to play that on your own time. Literally, Sherlock, I have none of my own time for gaming. So, totally reasonable question. But yeah, it is no exaggeration that any time that I am not streaming, I am either working or spending time with Plan. I have zero leisure time that I game in. So if I'm playing a game, whether it's on Xbox or PC or any other console, if you don't see it on stream, I've never played it. Because I don't have time. Done really well, chat. Look, our city is prospering. We've managed to extend some of our walls. We've got some more defenses up. We've raided some raiders camps. We've solved the brick problem. We've solved the stone problem. Our desirability in these areas is pretty high. Something's wrong here, chat. This is going well. Sadly recognizable, understandable. Yeah, like, genuinely, I am... If I had more spare time... I would probably be writing more articles for Gaming Bus. If I'm playing a game for that, I would stream it, because then I've streamed and also created the article. proficient areas we're getting stone from. Check on our cavalry healing up and go exploring a little bit more as well. I bet you'd write the article while playing the game as well. I'd be doing my best to. I'm probably doing pretty poorly at it as well. Let's not pretend. So this Saturday morning stream, this is literally my free time that I thought I should really play a game. Because this isn't on the schedule. We didn't play Farthest Frontier yesterday because I was trying to get some games in with Wagley. Wagley's been incredibly generous with her time recently. So we've been playing a load of co-op games, which again, Wagley suggested a lot of. Have you been enjoying the lot of sim games we've been playing? That is very much Wagley giving of her time and her ideas on the sort of thing that she would like to play. That is not me, is all Wagley. Which I'm incredibly grateful for. So this morning was me thinking, I want to play some Farthest Frontier, and plan is should be getting some rest this morning and having a lie-in. So while I wait for Plan to wake up, I'll stream some Farthest Frontier and claim it's Friday. But a good example of the lack of time and stupidity of this particular streamer. There are quite a lot of games at the moment that I am overdue to play as well, Sherlock. Obviously, I'm not going to be around for the Space Marine launch. But I also have... Oh, did I lose out on that? I did. Okay, well. I was going to play some Tavern Simulator, but my keys expired. Diplomacy is not an option. Yes. Okay. Obviously, Space Marine's coming out. The new COD's coming out. And I have not packed a single bag for travel. I have got my phrase book. I feel woefully underprepared for traveling because I don't speak Czech. And not even as a language I speak enough of to get by. There's lots of languages that I speak a very small amount of that I wouldn't claim any proficiency in, but I can order a taxi, order a coffee, ask where the nearest coffee shop is, buy coffee from a grocery store. Can you see there's a coffee related? Say please and thank you, check into a hotel, ask for directions in. It's about 30-ish languages that I speak enough to kind of get by. No level of proficiency and understanding at all. Definitely not conversational. Just enough to arrive in a place, get around without feeling like a rude British tourist. Which the traditional way of speaking that little language is, no, do you speak English? English. Do you? Well, yeah, so, yeah, shouting at people in cities in a language they don't understand and wondering why, when you're standing in another country that speaks a different language, why they don't speak your native language. Whereas Czech, I just never travelled there for work before. So don't have the kind of please and thank yous and stuff down. So I have a phrase book that I'll be trying to learn 30, 40 phrases on the plane. But I'm super looking forward to it. So I've got to pack, I've got to do that, I've got to do all the domestic things that you have to do. Considering we spent most of this stream talking about this being a really a Saturday morning rant. While playing, we've done surprisingly well. We've nearly gone bankrupt and we survived. We've nearly... next problem is going to be we're nearly starving. Probably have enough labourers to deal with that, though. Do we have enough fertile land prepped? Not really. Oh, we just do a big field outside the city walls. That's what we'll do. Are these going to be our city walls forever, though? Fence gap there. What maximum sizes for these? 12 by 12? Ah, I see how I've done that there. Okay. I suppose we do that. So I was trying to work out how I had lined those fields up before. Let's do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm fencing a little bit closer in. I might have to demolish that later, but that at the moment is fine. I'll put a gate in the end there. Fortunately, these boars are likely to attack us. I'll find some more area we can expand more food in. Because there are some deer over here. We could set up another wee hamlet here to supply our town with meat. Because our food is not looking great, chat. quite sure how quite so much of it is. We had a lot of vegetable spoil. Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. Because we cut our vegetable production a little bit. Because we had... had some rotting of roots. Which is a bit of a problem. Well, our two biggest fields. They were producing hay last year. They're producing more food this year-ish. How much grain do we have in our stores? I'm going to guess not a huge amount. Oh, we got some there. Okay, well in that case we'll immediately set up another windmill to produce flour. Because although it won't reflect in our stores until it's bread, more flour means we can make more bread. Which is why we bought so much grain. And we need to find more willow, because or buy more willow. And we're out of clay. Wow, we are. I had to go and say it earlier about how well we were doing, didn't I? Resources. No one will like this. Maybe we can persuade them it's a park. There you go. Investing in local parks if you just ignore the massive clay pit in the middle. Hey Grimroth, how are you? That number of labourers just dropped from 111 to 98 free, and it's going to drop again when we get these farms up. Oh, that is weeding this turn. I was going to say that's quite a lot of weeds. Oh, that's a problem. Our heavy tool production seems to have slowed to nothing. We need to figure out why that is. Totally buying our way out of our food crisis here. Try and earn a little bit of that money back. We've just spent lots of money there. Could rename it a play pit, give everyone who turns up a free shovel and tell them it's part of the fun, says Steepo. Good morning, Steepo. How are you, my friend? Lovely to have you here. Probably selling more of these than we absolutely should, but I think it's worth it. You see the hordes of farmers there slowly getting that together? Buy some cheap shoes that we can then resell later. You warrior relic. Soldiers upkeep cost reduced by 30%. Ooh. Or other relics? Honestly, we don't have enough food. That food spoils slower is the... Yeah. I'll have a fairly significant impact because our soldier costs are 280. That will give us 60 gold boost a month to our economy. We've got our food stores at 4. So we're doing okay for meat, actually. We're not doing so hot for fish. Fish is always harder to keep going long term anyway. Our vegetables and beans and fruit in particular is a problem. Maybe we should think about building into that as we get more pop. We'll absolutely be buying all of that clay. That will help solve the problem for the clay. Once it comes yield more meat. Not all that interesting. A little tempted to buy the meat if we had the smokehouses to sort it. So we're bolstering our food a little bit. And I think what we're going to do back towards our city is build an arborist, and we'll put some fruit trees up inside our city walls. There we go. 2 new fields are up as well. And there's a little bit of protection from raiders and boars. Some protection to stop the wildlife just eating all of our farmed produce. Add the walls tall. So we can do another cool thing just so we've done it. Amenities and services. Build some crypts. Very well, how's your morning going? All the best for getting our armor servers up and running after yesterday's shenanigans with them. Oh. And it took 7 times to get the stream up. The DMs you sent me, Mark, that's just funny. I don't want to cause anyone more, give the people you've highlighted any more publicity than the 0 they deserve. But the particular challenge with what you've just sent me is like the only way to deal with it is going to be send a trademark and copyright strike, which is going to cost me hundreds. I really, really appreciate you letting me know, Mark. Not a complaint at all that you've let me know. It's a, like, what a dumb problem to have. And if you're going to go rip someone off, rip someone off that's making money. just say it. There are bigger content creators than me in our audience. Never mind. Oh, they just scrubbed socials to get it. So, anyhow, on that happy note, I think we've done not bad. We've managed to get ourselves 2 fields here that will help make our food a little bit more sustainable over time. We've managed to up our level of labourers, although they're getting dangerously close again to being a problem soon. We have got a new road out north and this new very defensible wall that we built in the other down to the south of our city to clearly protect the fishermen that we've planned to put there in the future, not because we mistook the road and the wall tool. We found a mega rock that we can further develop soon. We've done a little bit of exploring, dealt with some bandit camps. We've got our money up to 9,000. That discounted relic that we found, or the relic that discounts soldiers' salaries, has meant that our monthly income's gone to 369. Nice. So really our big problem now is just going to be food. And continue to improve our defences. So you can see our defensive wall has been built over this side as well. So despite the fact we nearly went bankrupt and nearly starved, overall, I think that's a success. Do I want gold enough? Ooh. Never mind, silly question. A really high price for ore. Could maybe get by not buying that, but and we've filled stocks. What difficulty are you playing on, says Mac Divine? It seems you're often balancing on knife edge. No, it's just the late game. It's the mid-tier difficulty. This was intended to be kind of a chilled out playthrough. So everything is the default settings for kind of mid-tier games. But as you grow your population, a lot of the problems grow with it. So your constant food supply. So you have to keep monitoring one thing at a time. And you can realistically, about every 2 or 3 years, if you're doing okay, build out your population. Oh, and see our little additional houses on the end of the terraces here have been upgraded as well. Although some of them need more water than they're getting, because they're getting none. Let's resources. Well, do that. Definitely accept those villages. And part of our problem as well Divine, is that we haven't really gone very far into food preservation, and we haven't really got very much fruit, which is something that we're starting to do, which, to remind future flanker, there was a plan here. That was an excessively loud thwonk. Actually get these plants done, because otherwise I'll just forget. Okay. There we go. We started to get more fruit built there, and we started to do more preserving of things like milk, and started to get herds up. But there's some things that just take time to do. So, for example, our cow herd, if we want to increase the amount of food and resource it produces overall, we're going to have to reduce it, because we're going to have to split this into two and double the amount of grazing for it before we can, of which will then get more cows being born. But in the meantime, we're not killing any food. So, yeah. Yes, but I'm trying to do a lot of balancing. Whether I'm succeeding or not is probably something slightly different. Nelly went bankrupt and Nelly starved. Ah, the furthest Brexit, says Grimrod. Yes, we voted to cut ourselves off from all of the surrounding area and our trade, and then suffer the consequences of our actions. It must be those traders. They did this to us. You know what? I think having the extra raw material is going to be worth it. It's not going to tell me how many labourers I need until I don't have enough. But what I am going to do is turn this back on again. Yeah, I think we're doing okay there still. We'll refire the forge so we can process more metal, and we've bought more resource that we can turn into ingots, so we can then turn into all of the other things. And maybe even make some furniture. This might be a bit of a push too far. Let's see. There we go. I think we've done okay. Despite multitasking, despite the fact that we have ranted about everything from the state of journalism and the challenges facing small businesses and large alike, through to the challenge of running armor servers. We seem to have, despite it all, managed to grow our city, get ourselves back to having gold in our coffers again. But it is going to mean that the next sets of raids that we get are going to be somewhat larger. And it is going to also mean that we're going to try and double our cavalry, because why not? Let's do that there. Oh, that's why not. Maybe we'll find a new cavalry base, maybe here. See if we can speed through this as well, because we'll have been wasting good horses. I have no birth rate of horse at all at the moment. Yes. See the complaints about the vegetables were a villager stricken with scurvy. Slanger doing one more turn. Well, kind of. This was meant to be an hour-long stream from 7 till 8. Didn't get started till 8 and has now been 3.5 hours. However, I have seen that, speaking of plans best laid, Plan has been up and about and done all the things and stuff. So that does kind of signal the end of this stream, because I'm not here on Saturdays. This is all in your imagination. That sucks, Mount Divine. Thank you for the bonus stream, says Mark. But it's Friday, indeed. It is Friday. Grimroth, well spotted. This is Farthest Frontier Friday. All the VODs are up on YouTube. If you're at a loose end for the other games we've played, some Police Simulator, Patrol Officers, which I've been thoroughly enjoying, and we'll be trying out some mods over the next few days. And I still want to do a real-time day to see how that works out, because I think the game's a bit too derpy for it. We'll be back tomorrow with our Sunday Community Night games, with some Stellaris. Oh no, we won't be doing Stellaris tomorrow. Put the suggestions in Discord as to what you'd like to see tomorrow, because our Stellaris game balked, and per our earlier discussion about tech sport streams, no one enjoys watching that. So if you have some suggested games for tomorrow, let me know in Discord. Just write in there what the games you'd like to see and the suggestions for Sunday, and I'll have a look at them a little bit later on today. But yeah, until then, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. If you're watching us on YouTube, or even if you're not, if you wouldn't mind going to the YouTube channel and subscribing, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps out a really significant amount more than you would know. Once we get to certain figures, it helps us on both our advertising, see earlier discussion, but also it means that we can start to benefit from some of the ads that you do see on YouTube. Or if you're a YouTube Premium subscriber, we benefit from you using YouTube Premium when watching the videos. At the moment we don't, so that would be much appreciated. We're also going to go and find someone cool to go raiding within our community over on Twitch. For those watching on Twitch, let's see who's doing something cool this morning. Oh, that didn't take any time at all. We're going to go and hang out with an awesome streamer for our community. Well, it's going to be the one, the only Dr. Placebo. I will definitely remember to save up in the background here. If you don't know Doc, Doc is a fantastic member of our community. Genuinely always have fun playing games with Doc. He joined us for some Police Sim. We've played quite a bit of Ready or Not with him, and he's currently playing Eco with other members of our community on a server that's not run by us, but is run by Fire. Yeah, I think you're really going to enjoy the content. I think you're going to really enjoy hanging out with Doc, and would always strongly recommend hanging out. It's normally where I spend my Saturday mornings when I'm not streaming. So I'll put the raid command in the right place. Let's go with that. There we go. If you wouldn't mind making a wee bit of noise as well, you can copy the raid command whether you're a subscriber or not, and show Doc some love and support as well. Just drop him a follow, doesn't cost you anything, and I'm sure you'll enjoy his content. They're currently well through, I think, a playthrough on Eco, and I'm sure it'll be a really chilled out, relaxing way to spend your Saturday morning. And final thing, if you wouldn't mind checking out Gaming Buzz at gaming.buzz, you can find the link in the chat at the moment. I would truly appreciate it. CAKing works really hard on the articles over there. We've got several members of our community that contribute, a couple of staff writers writing content for the site. Just really appreciate it if you'd go on there and show the love. But in the meantime, hope you have a wonderful day. Let's go raiding on a wee flank attack. Bye-bye for now.
I say, old cat, I think those raiders mean to do us harm.